All right, guys, this is going to be part two of our Google Classroom kind of intro to you, so we kind of understand how to do things. And we really wanted to focus on the assignment work process, like how do things happen? What does it look like from a teacher's perspective? And then what does it look like from the student's perspective? So what John and I are going to do is we are going to play the role of teacher and student back and forth, so we kind of understand what the whole assignment process looks like, because that's really the most important thing in the Google Classroom that we've seen. So John's going to go ahead and start and then give us an assignment in one of his classes.
Okay, so this is my dashboard for Google Classroom. I'm logged in with my Google account, and these are the 2 classes that I am enrolled in. And then these are the 4 classes that I have created. So I don't have any upcoming assignments except for Mr. Roach.
Pronoun test.
Yeah.
Very important pronoun test.
And then for all of my classes, I have no upcoming assignments that I have assigned. What's great, Google Classroom, everything's integrated so the students will see all their classes together. What I'm going to do is I am actually going to create an assignment for my biology class, and there's different features here. The main thing I use is the stream and then the assignment. So I'm going to assign circadian data analysis. And then the description of the assignment is really important. You want to tell the students what exactly you want them to do with this assignment. So answer the 3 questions on the Google Doc shared to you. So I want them to answer right on the Google Doc that I'm going to share with them. What's great is it automatically puts their name. So I'm going to go to my drive to assign it, and I'm going to look for circadian rhythm data analysis. That's exactly the assignment I've already created in years past, and it's basically just an assignment with 3 questions. And let's see, I'm going to scroll down. I want students make a copy for each student, because I want each student to have their own copy and then answer their own questions. And right here, I clicked assign. It's going to be due on June 24th. And I have 2 students in my class. None of them are done, but it now has been shared with them, and it actually will have sent them an email also that they have a new assignment.
All right, so I am the student. I'm going to go over into my account. And if I look over here on my dashboard right here, this is a class that I have. I have 1 student enrolled in, another class over here in English that I have 4 students enrolled in. But in the middle, here's my biology class that I am the student in, and John Darko is the teacher. So I have an upcoming assignment, circadian data analysis. Looks like fun. All right, and so I hit this button. Now, it has 2 options. It has instructions and it has your work. Okay, and so that's going to be kind of key for the student. Like, if they just go in here right now and start staring at the screen, they're going to be kind of confused, like, well, what am I supposed to do? They really want to go into their instructions first. Okay, so right there is where, like John had wrote, answer the 3 questions on the Google Doc shared to you. So that's why it's important that the teacher really shows us what those instructions are, so as a student we can understand them. Okay, so your work, and I see that I have this Google Doc right here that I have to respond to. And so it's due tomorrow, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on it. Now, what's really cool is, if you remember, that was John's Google Doc. But if we look up here, it says J. Roji on it because he assigned it to me. This is where, when students turn in assignments and they tell you that they did, and they probably did, but you have to go find it in your Google Drive and you cannot find it. That can take care of that problem. That's what I really like about this.
Right. They will all have the same name, circadian rhythm data analysis, but what will be different between their Google Docs is just that it has their name tagged at the end.
Yeah, that's just great. Okay, so I'm not going to go through the whole assignment because I probably want to get the answers right anyways. But question number one, I look down here and there's a claim about proteins and about clock. And if I was a student that cared a whole lot, I'd be reading about it and getting to know the answers. But John already told me the answer, so that should be pretty easy. And he told me, how does the clock protein vary during the course of the day? I'm going to go ahead and put the answer, and that is that clock protein, if I type that right, is up during the day. So during the day and down at night. Now again, if I wanted to make sure he saw that answer, I'd go ahead and maybe, make it a little fancier and highlight it and put it in red. That way he sees that I have that answer right there. Okay, and then I'd go through with question 2 and question 3, and I'd answer like I'm supposed to answer. Now, what's really neat is I hit turn in right here.
That's awesome.
And I can turn in that assignment to the teacher. I don't have to worry about the share button. Okay, I can turn it in. It takes me back into the classroom. It says one attachment will be submitted. That's my circadian rhythm data analysis with my name on it now, and I turn it in.
And you don't get that with sharing docs usually. It's only when you share docs through Google Classroom that students have that turn-in option. And you know that it's done then.
Yeah, it's a great feature. And again, it tells me it's done, so I don't have to worry about that. I could on-submit it and make changes if I wanted to, but I probably wouldn't. I could add a private comment and say, Mr. Darko, that's a great worksheet.
I get that all the time.
He's probably used to that, triple exclamation mark, and then I post that, and then he could see that I'm sucking up to him and I want a good grade.
There we go.
Okay. So, and that's from the student perspective, I'm done at this point, and it goes back to the teacher. And so then John will go ahead and show us what the teacher sees.
All right. So here we go. Here's my, biology class, and I see that, hey, now I have a student that's actually done with this assignment. So I could click on that and see who's done. Right here it says Jay Roji's done, and there's his comment. Mr. Darko, that's great, and it could probably show me more. That's a great worksheet. So then I want to grade his assignment. So I'm going to click on there, look at the Google Doc. And it looks like everything that I had, but I want to scroll down to those 3 questions, and oh, there's his assignment. So he only answered 1 of the 3 questions, but that looks okay. I could add comments to here. Now, if I wanted to actually grade it, it looks pretty good. He got 1 out of the 3 questions, right? So I'm actually going to go back here. And let's see, to grade, whoops.
You can go right in there into no grade.
Oh yeah, there we go. Grade, and right now it's out of 100 points. I actually want it out of 3 points. That's it. I don't want this. I'm going to update that. I don't want it out of 100 points, and I forgot to do that when I created the assignment. So now I'm going to say he got 1 out of 3. And that looks good. It's saved.
But not returned yet. If you notice, it says it has not returned it to me.
So you want to look for the big blue buttons and hit return. Do I want to add any feedback? I could. So I'll say, Jay, only 1 of 3 questions have been answered. Hit return. And now the assignment I examined, I might have provided some comments, I graded it, and then I also returned it back to the student.
Okay, so now the ball's kind of back in my court as the student. I go back into my classroom, and I want to go back to my original page because, that's still where I turned it in at. And I'm in Biology SE. I take a look at my assignment there, the circadian data analysis. It's been returned to me. Okay, and so I can go ahead and open that up and take a look at it now that it's been returned to me. Okay, and right up here I see 1 out of 3, and then I'm all mad. Why'd I get 1 out of 3? Well, Mr. Darko informs me down here only 1 of 3 questions answered, and so now I know why I only had 1 out of 3. What's also nice is that I will have an email from Mr. Darko too, or from Google Classroom, saying that it's been returned and showing me what my grade is. And so I don't have to automatically go in here, maybe as a student and forget that I even did this assignment and never check the grade. There's, it sends the email too. Does it mean the student's going to open the email? No. Okay, but it is another avenue for the student to see their grade on that assignment.
Yeah, and what's nice is because it's all Google everywhere, not only did it send him and the student an email when it was graded, but also when it was assigned in the first place.
Now, as a student, another thing on my page, I can look at all my assignments, over here on this stream, what's due tomorrow, all the assignments I've ever done. Okay, what I have left to do. These are assignments John had made for this class earlier that I didn't do. Notice how it says late on those assignments. And then, that's up in my to-do part. Now I go over to done. What assignments have I done? And it shows me I've done this. I had 1 out of 3 on this. Here's some other assignments we had kind of messed around with. I had 93 out of 100 on this, 1 out of 1 on this. And so it does let me know what my grades have been. Some drawbacks to that would be that, those grades are not in progress book and those assignments are not in progress book. So as a teacher, you still have to put those grades into progress book. That's unfortunate that it works that way, but there's really no good way to kind of stream that back into progress book. So even though it automatically grades it there, but it's the same thing as writing it, like with a pen on paper, you still have to then physically put that into progress book too.
Yeah, so that's definitely a drawback. But let's look at one of the awesome things about Google Classroom is I'm going to go to mine. Okay, so I have all these assignments that I have had students complete, and Jay was my guinea pig, so he's created a bunch of these, or answered a bunch of these. But let's go to Google Drive. So I'm going to go to my Google Drive. And in Google Drive, when you create a class or a Google Classroom, it automatically creates a folder called Classroom. That's what it's called. Inside Google Classroom, then you have all the classes, and it automatically creates these folders for your various classes. I'm going to click on Biology, and it will create folders for each of the assignments that you've done. And I look in my circadian data analysis folder, and here's Jay's assignment that he turned in. So this automatically is organizing Google Docs for assignments by student's name into separate folders.
Right, and a lot of us know that you can do that in Google Drive with Google Docs to begin with, but it is a lot more work to do that. You have to be very specific on what you name the assignment, and then the extra dash with the class period. I don't know if anybody does it at this point because it's so much more work to try to organize those folders. This does it for you. So that student comes back in 3 weeks and says, but I did that, I turned it in. You go right there to the classroom and say, well, I don't have it. And, and right there is the proof that you don't have it because it's not in that folder. It would automatically be in there. So, that saves a lot of that work. Or it also proves that the student did it too. You might have missed it in the progress book, putting the grade in, and it proves that they did do it. And here it was, and it was graded. And so I think, housekeeping wise, that's the biggest reason I want to use Google Classroom.